All right, so we're heading live now, and as soon as I get the notification that we're up, I will let you know. All right, so I think we are live streaming now. So hey guys, thank you so much for being here today. I have some really exciting guests that I don't know, it's really cool that they're here today with us. And so I can't wait to introduce them to you. So we are live today doing something a little bit different than we normally do, because typically in this group, we talk about ways to support your doTERRA business, and we share tools and resources and other things like that. But today, I actually want to share with you guys about a really special product that I learned about recently. And although this may not directly apply to your doTERRA business, I think that us as doTERRA wellness advocates, this is definitely an avenue that we can all kind of relate with. So we have Scott and Steve on with us today from Essential Vibes, and they're going to be talking to us a little bit about electromagnetic frequencies and this amazing product that they have invented that can help our bodies to kind of deal with that ever-present threat that's around us now. With the way that our society is, we can't really escape from it unless you want to go live in the middle of nowhere. So welcome guys. Really grateful that you guys could hop on with us today. Please tell us more about your product and your company and how you guys came to be here today.
Perfect. Well, thanks, Mandy, for having Steve and I. It's awesome to be part of your group. We're also wellness advocates for doTERRA as well, so we love our essential oils.
Absolutely.
Just wanted to say thank you so much. And Steve's going to start off a little bit about his story of where this all started, even before doTERRA, and why he even got into doTERRA, and then talking through some of the health challenges that Steve's had over the years, and then how we came across Essential Vibes technology and what that's done for us, for our families, and then people around us and stuff like that, and what it can actually do to help benefit your body, while also using essential oils with the product. So it's not like it's a totally separate product. You actually can use both together, which is really exciting. So Steve, why don't you start off with a little bit of your story?
Yeah, hi everyone. So we do use both products, absolutely, and many other products, not just doTERRA, not just Essential Vibes, but many other products. So with myself, I've been on a health journey for probably close to 27 years right now, and at one point being a vegan for 7 years, growing my own sprouts. So that was quite exciting, an awful lot of hard work when it wasn't very popular as it is today. But as time went on, there was obviously many health issues that arise, and always looking for some way to find solutions. And so from changing your diet, increasing exercise, increasing your exposure to sunlight and stuff like that, and decreasing toxicity from many different sources. On and on the story went, but fast forward just over 6 years ago, my wife and I, good friends of ours, had introduced us to doTERRA, and at that point, we started using the product and saw some tremendous health improvements, far more than I have seen with being even a vegan. So for myself, it was the easy way to level up my health, especially for the effort and the cost. There was nothing that seemed to be more affordable or get a bigger bang for my buck. So that was the exciting part. And obviously, like so many others, we decided to do it as a business. We just naturally started telling everybody, and from there it thrived. So a lot of our family and friends have joined and are doing doTERRA as a business as well. And they have also seen massive improvements in health. So, but soon after we started doTERRA, I retired from my regular job, as typically what happens. And I started having other health challenges because of lack of physical activity. Health challenges that I've always had, they just became magnified as I stopped physically working and stuff like that. And also at that time, I was getting exposed to a lot more EMF. I was on my phone, my cell phone, quite a bit. We got a smart meter on our house. There's a cell tower just about 1 kilometer away from our house. So we have an awful lot of exposure to EMF. And my son started talking to me about EMF a little over a year and a half ago. And he started saying, sharing some videos with me and stuff like that. And he said, you might want to check this out. And I got so interested that I saw it as a very real possibility that would be contributing to my downward health condition. And so I hired a consultant to come to my house. And so he tested everything in my house. He tested my body, my wife, and my son's body as well, my younger son, for EMF exposure and how well our bodies handle it. And so that person is going to be on the video as well. So one of the videos that Scott is going to show later on, which is on our website currently. So fast forward from there, I was very, very interested in applying some common sense principles to try to reduce EMF exposure, which we did. We put shielding around the smart meter and the Wi-Fi. We turned it off at night, did all sorts of stuff, and I saw a little bit of improvement in my health. But we were at the Whole Life Expo in Toronto, 2019 in November, so just a few months earlier. And we were doing 2 booths, 2 doTERRA booths over there. Young Living was there as well, amongst well over 100 other vendors. And 2 vendors were promoting their EMF bracelets and pendants and products. So I remember what the consultant had told me, Paul Singer. He had said that he's tested dozens and dozens of products that are supposed to protect you from EMF, and he hasn't found any that have worked. And so with one of the vendors right beside us, I decided to test his products. He was selling his products from $300 to $1,000. So I was obviously very, very skeptical and sarcastic, and not too sarcastic, but I decided to test his product. And then my son also purchased a product from another vendor. And I almost lost it over there. I said, how can you possibly do that? Wouldn't you want to test the product first to see if it actually works? Because most of this stuff is bogus. And so now I end up paying for 2 tests. So there was a live blood analysis vendor there as well. And so I made arrangements to do a before and after with products from the one EMF vendor and products from the other EMF vendor. One vendor, I tested the products on myself, the other vendor on my daughter, Carissa. So sure enough, the vendor that I used the products on myself, there was no positive effect. There was no change in my blood. Nothing really happened. And I followed his instructions completely. The other vendor, which I thought was even less credible, which was surprising. It was even less credible. His products were actually cheaper than the vendor that I tested his products on myself. So his products were cheaper, and surprise, surprise, I was blown away by the actual test results, the before and after on my daughter. And I think at that point, my wife quickly went over and purchased a bunch of product. Scott went over and purchased a bunch of product. And so we've partnered up with this individual, and we want to promote his technology. He's the inventor, and now we've joined up with him and want to share the products that we have found that actually work on ourselves, on our family, on our friends. We've done a variety of other subsequent testing, and we've been very, very pleasantly surprised, to put it mildly, at the results.
So when we first met him as well, being very skeptical as nature, as most people are, that's the first thing we wanted to do, was test the product from a scientific point of view to see what changes were actually happening to our blood and to see what other things could actually happen with it. So they've never done any kind of testing like that before, but they have over 10 years and over 5,000 different testimonials for every ailment that is listed on our website. So there's been a long period of time in testing with this technology on people that have written in video testimonials, event after event, over the last 10 years. So it's been around a long, long time. The good but bad thing is it's been around for so long, but they have a very small niche market that they've been focusing on. So when Steve and I first met, when we're looking at each other, it's like, well, this could be something fairly big because of what it could actually be to the bigger audience. Knowing that our bodies have frequencies in them, we're frequency beings, and this being a frequency product, bringing those two together, only good things can happen, in a sense of when you add in the technology that we're going to be talking a little bit today, the core of the basis is called the Schumann resonance, which is the Earth's frequency, which is 7.83 hertz. So this image that we're looking at right here, this is what your body typically, this is what your cells typically look like on a day-to-day basis without using the technology. So EMFs could be cell towers, it could be Wi-Fi, it could be the electrical outlets in your house, the microwaves, you name it. They all have EMFs. So EMFs play a big part in our life that people, and we don't even know about it because it's not a big, big topic. And people are getting really, really sick and they don't know why. This technology really brings them back to base. So a really good example that Steve and Chris and our group are talking about a lot is when people travel and they go way up north or they go down south and they're out of the busy city and stuff like that, typically you feel a lot more energy. You feel more alive. You feel you're grounded. You have strength. That could be because a little placebo effect that you're on vacation. Really what's happening is you're getting out of a lot of the EMFs that your body is normally in. When that happens, your body is detoxing, you actually feel better. So what this product actually does, it brings you back to that state. Doesn't matter where you are, because it's realigning your protons in your body and it's protecting you from all these EMFs. That's the beauty of the product, and that's what all the different bracelets do. So what I'm going to show you is, here's some different products, but what I'll show you is the video that Steve was talking about with Carissa at the actual expo. This was live video on a cell phone, unedited, uncut. It's just the raw video, and it's not too long, and it'll give you an idea of what is actually happening with the product in their blood. It's gonna be pretty neat. I'm gonna start that right now. Hopefully you guys can hear it. You guys can give us a thumbs up or some comments letting us know that you can hear the video.
So we're over here. Carissa's going to be doing the live blood analysis as we are going to be testing whether the product works or not. So later on, after the live blood analysis is completed, we're going to go over and we're going to put one of the bracelets on that is supposed to realign her protons, and we're going to see if there's a change. We're going to do a live blood analysis again at the end of the day.
Our movement is good, but we do have a little bit of clumping, so we can see that some of them are stuck together. So we're going to investigate if we get to why that might be happening. We just don't have too many. We have that virus again. Bacteria. So digestive protein.
Digestive protein.
See all these little dots everywhere? So these are what we call environmental parasites. This is sort of our first part, yes? And then are you going to come back and come back?
It should be at the end of the day.
Sorry, I thought I had the video on, but it just turned on now.
Okay, look at how fast, that's super fast.
Yeah, so you can see how fast her blood is moving. That's ridiculous. Even the technician has not seen this today. It's almost like she's supercharged.
Parasites? I don't see any parasites. No, actually, that's true.
There seems to be a very noticeable difference. Very.
Yeah.
Very noticeable difference.
I'm guessing, right? But what it's done is it's oxygenating your blood. It's moving faster. So because it's oxygenating your blood, it's not allowing for those.
I made the video a little bit larger too.
Right, because your body's right. So it's killing off a lot of this stuff. What is there?
I should have made the video larger there, guys, when we were playing that. Sorry about that.
That's okay. So Scott, maybe for those who, I could hear most of that pretty well, but I don't know how well the connection is for those of our friends that are tuning in on live. So can you just kind of summarize what we watched?
So what's happening there is before the bracelets were actually put on, we did a live blood test on us to give us a baseline of what our body normally typically looks like. So typically with most people per se, you'll see their blood is very clumped together. It's moving very, very slowly. You'll see some parasites. You can see bacteria. You can see if they're, you can see crystals. You can see if they're iron deficiency. You can see so many things in a live blood test analysis. It's actually truly amazing technology. And what we wanted to see was what's happening inside our blood after we wear the product for a certain amount of time. What happens? So this is the part that we're all blown away when we're testing this product out, is the results was phenomenal within such a short period of time. So every person's body is different. It's the same reaction that you get with different essential oils and all these different things. And that's why we did more testing. And with Carissa, her blood was moving. It was somewhat separated. It was okay, but she had some parasites and she had some other things going on in her blood. But after she wore the 3 bracelets for 4 hours, majority of the parasites were gone, and her blood was super oxygenated and moving super, super fast. And when that happens and your blood is super oxygenated, a lot of things can't live in an oxygenated state.
Absolutely.
And that is really, really, really important for so many different things. So there's 2 folds of what we're talking about here. Is one, what it can do to your blood and to your body to help support itself, if you will. The second, which is equally important, is what the product can do to help protect you from EMF waves. So it's actually, the product does 2 things at the exact same time, which is amazing. So what you just saw was what it's actually doing to the blood level. And that is super, super important. The next video that we're going to do, which was kind of a really important one for me to see on Steve's behalf, because I know he was fighting with EMF issues and he had Paul Singer to his house. That's how bad and how scary this stuff is. And Steve's health was declining. He's trying to figure out what else he can do to get healthy. And he had Steve Singer come to his house. Steve, do you want to talk about that for a little bit, a few minutes?
Yeah, so I had contacted Paul Singer. The way I contacted him was that I found out who was the best EMF consultant on the planet in terms of company, and that turned out to be GeoVital. And so I contacted GeoVital, and they're in Austria, and they got a hold of one of the representatives in the GTA in Toronto, and that is Paul Singer. And so that's how I contacted Paul Singer. We connected. I contracted him to come to my house and test the EMF exposure in my house, outside my house, and on our bodies, and how our bodies react to the EMF exposure. And so you're going to see some of the equipment in this video that he used. It's very high-end equipment. It's very, very pricey, several $1,000s for these little gadgets. And he's been trained by GeoVital. GeoVital developed these products. So they're very, very high-end, some of the best in the industry. And there was recommendations that were made by Paul Singer at our home, what we can do to reduce EMF exposure and stuff like that. And so because of that connection, I had already been very educated. He had given me an awful lot of literature, and I had educated myself on what EMF is, the various different forms, how harmful it is, and what you can do to reduce it. You can't eliminate it, but you can reduce it quite drastically. But he never talked about anything other than, limiting your EMF exposure. So actually changing the effect in your body afterwards is pretty phenomenal. So most of us can't stop being affected by EMF, but we can do something after we are affected instead of letting our body stay in a damaged or distressed condition. We're able to do something now to bring it back into a healthier state, and that's why these products are so powerful, that we are so excited about seeing the result in Carissa, seeing the result in myself. My wife, she's sleeping better, feels more energy, stretching farther. Carissa as well, there was a noticeable difference from before the products over at the Whole Life Expo to after she put them on. You can visually tell there was a difference. She was happier. She was more energized. She was more normally she's pretty relaxed and passive as she was approaching people to talk about doTERRA products, the essential oils. That's what we were there enrolling people, and we enrolled a lot of people at the event. But she was even more friendlier and outgoing and stuff like that. So I was scratching my head thinking, is that my daughter? So what's happened to her? So that was exciting, and I could see something very, very tangible right in front of my eyes. So I'm scratching my head as all this is unfolding. And just hours earlier, me and the live blood technician there, you'll see her. We use the same technician over and over again for every test. We were laughing. We were literally laughing about showing that these products are going to be bogus. And so we were both surprised as we saw Carissa's results. We were laughing at my results because we got what we expected. It was a very negative. There was no change whatsoever, not positive, not negative. But Carissa's results did not happen the way we expected it.
So with the EMF video that I'm about to show you to full circle it, is Paul Zinger was at Steve's house, checking his house out to see how bad the EMFs were in his house with the smart meter and all the sort of things around the house, which helped him reduce a little bit of the EMF protection in his house. The big thing is a lot of people don't stay in their house 24 hours a day. You're always up and about, you're around, you're going to the city, you're going from this meeting, you're going to a grocery store, you're going to see the movies, you're going to do a doctor's appointment, you're going to walk into the hospital, whatever it may be. Wherever we go, there's EMFs, and some places are more than others. So the best way to protect yourself is to protect yourself. You put products on to help protect yourselves by putting a little tag on your microwave and stuff like this. Yes, that's going to help with that particular product, with that particular thing, potentially. What we want to do is we want to start with the host, which is ourselves, and work our way back and out. So start protecting yourself, protect your loved ones, protect your kids, all that sort of good stuff, and then start reducing the EMFs around you. That is the best way to combat all these different harmful EMFs around you. So this video that I'm about to play, I've made it bigger this time, so hopefully you guys can see it better. This is Steve in Burlington City Hall. We did this on purpose because it's a very busy place. So you're going to excuse the audio and stuff like that. We want to do this on purpose because it's a natural place for people to walk around. It's not like we wanted to go into a quiet room and film it that way. We got to go into the reality of where people are and where they're living. So this is what we want to do. So I'm going to play this now, and hopefully give us some comments. Let me know if you guys can hear it okay.
We are here to find out if some flange on certain bracelets embedded with a frequency, the Earth's frequency, or other types of frequencies like that are actually beneficial to the body, or can they be measured?
Well, so I've been doing this for 10 years. I started with training by a scientist in the field. So what we've got is, developed by GeoVital. We have 2 meters. The other one I'm just charging a little bit. And, these meters are in the mid thousands to buy versus, the building biology stuff starts in the low hundreds, so like we're on orders of magnitude different in what it costs to produce these things and what they're trying to do. But that's electric. So go ahead. Let's just be real still. Okay, so nice low reading on the electric. Okay, and now we're going to switch to magnetic. Let it settle down there. Okay, we're arriving at 400 psi. Now we'll go to the radio frequency. We're getting fluctuations. Your body is ranging between 560 and it's hard to call it on the upper end. I'm going to say between 560 and 1,000.
I'm going to pause it here quickly just for a quick second because these are really important numbers for you to pay attention to. It's electric, magnetic, and the actual RF readings here. If you see that, this is the baseline of Steve before he puts the product on. Now, if you notice, the bottom one, there's a huge shift in what's actually happening in his readings in his body. So we're going to go through this and you'll see Steve T5, 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes of after wearing the product for 5 minutes and you'll see the new reading. So watch this part.
Okay, because when I'm moving, I'm not going to take that. It's like movement. So now, let's put on a bracelet and see what is the effect of it you're saying.
So this is a silicone one embedded, and this is a solid one in the top one.
All right, let's do the okay, so let's do
The same order as before.
okay, so we'll start with electric. All right,
We'll hold this in this hand, right? And we'll see what happens.
okay, so that's about the same. We were down at the very, very low end on the electric, okay? Don't worry about that.
Well, this is
Okay, so we'll call it at 195. All right, on to that one.
I forgot what the numbers were now.
Remember what the other number was there?
600 to 1,000.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're at 5. I'm going to call it 550, but much less fluctuation. On the electric,
So before he gets into his explanation, the big thing that we want to recognize there is the stabilization of his body. That happened within 5 minutes of wearing the product.
Yep.
So he had tons of fluctuation. Within 5 minutes, his body was already starting to stabilize from the EMFs. That's really, really key and important, what we're watching. We'll continue on.
both of them were pretty benign anyway, okay? On the magnetic, you got, do the math, you got a reduction on just figure out the scientific formula for what percentage you got better reading. And on the high frequency, the radio frequency, you also, you got a much better reading, and also you got way less fluctuations. Okay, so, I'm going to say, my initial conclusion is that there could be something going on here, where the devices are actually doing something, where your body reacts differently to the magnetic and the radio frequencies. Mm-hmm. And possibly with your, having them for like 4 hours or 2 days or things like that, that could make a difference as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so, scientifically, we are seeing a difference.
Okay. I'm gonna do one last test here, just to see where things are, if there's any more increase or change.
Okay, so we're on electric right now?
Look at the meter.
Yeah, we're at 0 to 3 or 5, right, on the electric.
It's a constant zero.
Hmm?
It's a constant zero.
That is true. Yep.
I want to pause it here because it's important, because he didn't even realize what was happening. Within 15 minutes of wearing the product, the electric field in his body is sitting at constant 0. He was blown away. He was shocked at that. He didn't even realize what was happening. That's super important.
Yeah, you can see that the longer you wear it, the more improvement there is. It's pretty obvious.
Let's keep on going here. It's almost done.
So we're getting a little bit, right? Okay, so now let's go to magnetic. Call that at 189. Okay. It's even more settled now. I'm pretty happy with this test of these 3 frequencies versus the very last one that we did. Pretty happy with this. Like it's a fairly constant, same environment that we created.
So that's that video, and it's super important on what that actually did. And this is just people just walking around a mall, walking around whatever it may be. It's all around us. We need to protect ourselves from these different things. And now with 5G coming, it's even a little bit more scarier on what's happening. It's coming fairly quickly, and it's just, what can we do to protect ourselves? And this is a very good way to start that. And it's beautiful jewelry that we're always updating and changing. I'm going to show you a couple products. We could talk about that. So these are just, I'm not sure if you can see them. So this is just a lava bracelet, but it's not about the bracelet itself. It's about what's in the bracelet. So Steve is also showing some. So
Lava beads, but they are embedded with the Schumann frequency, 7.83 hertz. So it would be, a lot of people have heard about grounding or earthing. And so the way I like to think about it is if you were to, in a warmer environment, go out and walk barefoot on the sand, or even better, lie down with your body exposed onto the soil, a lot of the static and negative charges that are in you would dissipate into the soil, and you would be balanced with the charge of the earth. The frequency of the earth would kind of bring your body back to where it should be, where it is the healthiest or most optimal. So I like to look at these, like in a grounding way or an earthing way. So you can't do this in the winter. You can't always go out and lie down in the sand, but you can put on a bracelet. So I love it. And if we just quickly go back to Paul Singer, who has not seen any product that actually can help you. This was the first one he's seen. He said scientifically something is happening here, and that was at the T5 test. At the T15 test, it was even more obvious. So we have spent a lot of money doing tests because we want to know if this really works or not. And what we have seen every single time is that it actually works even more than what we anticipate. So that's the exciting part. That's why I wear so many. I've got them on each wrist. I've got a 5G. I've got a silicone bracelet. So I've got them all over the place. So
with this, they're not just the only 2 tests we've done. we've actually done a bunch of other testimonials. So on our website, essentialvibes.ca, you can also click on testimonials. And in the testimonials page, you'll see some quick examples of some of the people that have used the technology and their feedback on what's actually happened with them in such a short period of time. So we're so excited about what the product did for those two tests. We decided to hire a live blood test analysis to come to our office. And they came to our office, and a lot of people didn't know what to expect because people doing a live blood test analysis, they're still kind of freaked out on what it actually is. So when we hired them, they came in and we did their blood test on a Thursday. So from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m., we did 15 people, different random people that we know in our circle to come out, get their blood tested. Within those 15 people, we've had a range of a 17-year-old and an 89-year-old lady. Now, different ethnic backgrounds, different work ethics, different diets. The big thing is that we told them not to change anything for that 1 week. So we had to come up, did their blood test, we filmed the entire thing, and then we waited 8 days. So it was a Thursday, the following Friday, everyone came back to the office and we redid their test again, just wearing the bracelets. So each person got 2 bracelets, 1 for each arm. The differences in everybody was slightly different, but the outcome was the same where they all improved. Some drastically and some changed, but it wasn't as drastic, which is still really, really good. A really good example is Jim McPherson. I'm going to talk about him because I actually know him personally. And with Jim, he was fighting extreme anxiety attacks and stuff like that before the product. He was on some medications for it and wasn't really thinking anything was going to happen. So when he saw his live blood test, he was kind of freaked out of what was actually going on in his blood, because that there is a mind shift. And once you see, it's different. Once you see your own blood on screen, it is very different from saying, "Hey, doctor, can you do a blood test?" Very different. So we did this. A week later, Jim actually called me and he was pretty excited about the product. And I said, "I don't want to hear anything yet. I want to wait until we see your blood." I said, "Don't tell me anything." So we did his blood test analysis, and then we sent a note out to the people that did the test. And I said, "Can you do a best video testimonial on what you're experiencing? I don't want to know anything. Just send us your video testimonials." And that's what these testimonials are. These are people just with their mobile phones sending over exactly their experience on the product. And Jim's experience was an 80% reduction in anxiety attacks, in his anxiety, which is just beyond phenomenal. So that is just one particular one because he's a good friend of mine, and his wife was calling and she was pretty excited. Andrea Mann is my wife, going through some health challenges as well. And thanks to doTERRA and many other things that we're doing, like the bracelets, normally taking a nap during the day or two, her endurance and her staying awake through the day was not the norm. Now she can stay up through the day and she can go through the entire day without taking naps. Her pain levels have been reduced. Her focus and her brain fog has reduced as well. So these are these small things to us, but they're huge for a lot of people dealing with a lot of these chronic issues that we're dealing with. And a lot of them are from EMFs and other health challenges. So it's a fantastic product for what it's actually doing. There's a couple tests that people do with the product that just blows my mind. And it's some people think it's actually kind of fake, and it can be anyone can actually do it, but there's strengths and balance tests that can be done that I didn't believe that was possible until my son was holding up a 200-pound man on a chair, like in this video. So Halo was holding, he's lifting his legs with the actual product. And you want me to show this video, guys? Steve, Mandy, should I show this video?
Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever you like.
Let's see what's a good one. Let's go with this one. Maybe a little bit loud. I'll make it full screen as well.
Yeah.
So just with that alone, I know it's kind of weird. It's like, oh, anyone can do that. When you get the product, you try this with one of your loved ones or your friends. It is truly amazing. It's not like we're doing something weird, pushing on an angle, pushing this way. Do it, people, with one of your friends, and you'll be blown away. So he does it to another lady.
But this isn't your son, Scott. Your son's considerably younger and smaller.
Yes, my son is 11 years old. This is not my son. This is how quickly it works within your body. So it just goes to explain on what the product's doing within your body, within seconds, within minutes, within hours, within days, within weeks. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. Especially, guys, for those of us who travel a lot, spend a lot of time on airplanes. I know a lot of us travel back and forth to Salt Lake because we're going to leadership or we're going to convention, right? It's so important to be able to protect yourself. Airports are horrible for EMFs. Plus, you're going through X-rays. And then when you are in the airplane, airplanes are horrible for EMFs. So if you travel a lot, definitely well, it's must have regardless, but if you travel a lot, I feel like you're at a higher risk because you are being exposed more often. But yeah, really awesome technology. And the fact that you guys have the science and really kind of the proof of the pudding, right? The proof is in the pudding.
And that's exactly, and the cool thing is it's safe for kids. So my two kids have it on. They're both wearing 2 level 2s, which are the silicone bracelets, which, if you can see this. So these are just silicone and you never take them off. So you can sleep with them, go in the shower, sand, beach, sauna, through the airport. They're all safe. It's all good, no worries.
Perfect.
So they're good for everyone.
I know that people will probably have some questions. If you guys have questions, feel free to drop them in the comment feed, and Scott and I will make sure that we're monitoring the comments for any questions that you guys have. Scott and Steve, thanks for being on with us. Did you guys want to talk about anything else before we hopped off? Somebody had a good question here, guys. Debbie is asking, what do you mean by levels? How do we know which one to buy?
Good question, good question. So the black ones on our site that look like this, these are a level 1. The gray ones that look like this, these are a level 2. The difference is in strength. So the black ones have been in the machine just less amount of time than the level 2s. The difference between the two is 10 times the strength. So we always, like my 2 kids, they started off with a level 2 right off the hop. That's it, that's what we wanted, that's what we tried, that's what we loved, and it was all okay. The reason we created the level 1 is that it is cheaper to get into the technology at a much cheaper state. They're $25, where the level 2 is $75. So there's different prices, different bracelets that have different prices. All the bands have the core frequency, which is the Schumann resonance. We are working on some other new technology, which is going to be coming to help protect a lot more than your body as well, which is going to be around the house. That's going to be coming in 2020. We've been working on that already. So if you have any questions, once again, go to our website, essentialvibes.ca. Our email address is on there. Our contact information is on there. We'll also leave our contact information, our mobile numbers. You can call, and we'll be happy to get back in touch with you guys.
We got a couple more questions that I think are pretty good. So let's hit these real quick and then we'll hop off.
Sure.
So Sandra says the fancier bracelets, like the leather ones, what level are those?
Everything on our site is a level 2, except for the black silicone bands.
Perfect.
And they're all the Schumann resonance, which is the Earth's frequency. All of them have the same frequency. Just the black ones is a level 1, versus all the other ones are a level 2. And you can wear multiple. Steve's wearing 7, I think, right now. So
That's actually our next question. So Jana says, what's the idea behind the layering? Why would we need to wear more than one?
Very good question. So it's kind of, so with the actual product, one will actually be fine for you. I'm actually wearing 4, and it took me a while to get up to 4. And the reason I say that, because there's going to be questions behind this one, is we have people that are super sensitive to the frequencies and EMFs. So when you have sensitive people like myself, I put one on, I could feel it right away. I could actually feel tingles in my hand. I could feel almost like energy going up my arm. Some people like Steve, he's not sensitive to the products. We could put like 30 on Steve and he'd be okay, but he's still reaping the benefits at the blood level, which is important. Yeah. So a good example is that I was going to a volleyball tournament with my daughter, and I forgot that I had some product in my jacket that I was meeting Steve up with. So I had about 20 bracelets in my inside pocket, and I had them against me. Within about 15 minutes, I had like severe headaches. It was bad. I was driving down the highway. I realized that I had them in my jacket. I had to take them out, and about 20 minutes later, my headache went away because I am sensitive. So why people want to have more is that it will help protect you more. It will get your blood more oxygenated. It will move your blood faster. That's what we've seen so far in the tests that we've done. Janice
wants to know where the products are manufactured at.
They're manufactured in Portland, Oregon.
Perfect. And then Lindsay.
And we ship them worldwide.
Awesome. Lindsay asks, the crushed crystals, she's a newbie here and she wants to know why the bands have that.
The bands. Do you mean the silicone bands?
Yes,
yeah.
The bands.
So what happens in the silicone band, because it is silicone can't be charged with a frequency. So we had to put something else in the actual silicone to be able to hold the frequency. So when you put crushed crystals inside silicone and then we actually injection mold these, we're able to put these into our heavily modified machine to imprint the frequency into the bands. And that's why these silicone bands have the crystals built right within them. So if you actually turn them inside out and actually rub them and you look really closely, you can actually see small little crystals within the bands.
And the other bracelets, just so you guys know, all have some type of metal on them, and that's what's charged with the other bracelets. But since silicone is not an energetic material,
exactly.
That's why it has the crystals in there.
So this is just a typical lava bead. If you saw it on someone's wrist, you would have no idea that it actually has the frequency in it, but it does. So then we have this one here, which is just a twist. It has gold color and silver. We have a black one for the men. They like the solid black one. we have an open cuff, which would be silver with gold ends.
The metal ones are I would say hold more charge in them. So then the person earlier asked about the leather ones. So I was wearing the leather ones. I had 2 leather ones on for several weeks. You have to remove those every time you wash your hands, whether you go in the shower and stuff like that. My son had one, and it does get damaged. The leather is soft; it does get damaged. But there's just a little bit of metal on those. So you know, in hindsight, you know, you either get the lava beads, the
bangles are
sportsman,
really nice.
or you get the bangles, the metal ones, because the more metal, the more frequency it holds.
Jana was just mentioning, and I actually had this problem too. So not necessarily super important to the live, but she's saying she's trying to put the level 2 silicone band in her cart right now, and it's not letting her. It's asking her to choose an option, but there's no options for her to select.
That was for the silicone band?
Level 2. Yeah, I actually had the same issue earlier. I was trying to check out with that too, and it wouldn't let me.
Okay, we'll be looking at that as soon as we finish off the call. We can take a quick look at that.
Perfect.
All
right, guys. Thank you so much. If you guys are catching this on replay, again, if you have questions, be sure to leave them in the comments and we'll get back with you guys and check in. But I think we're going to hop off for now. So thank you, gentlemen, again for hopping on with us today.
Thank you very much, Mandy.
We'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks for having us, Mandy. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye now.